The chandelier sparkled like a crown above the lobby, every corner polished to perfection. Guests glided in with luggage and smiles, greeted with warmth and grace. But when a black woman walked up to the front desk, her outfit simple, her presence calm, the atmosphere shifted. The manager's polite mask slipped into cold disdain. Without even asking her name, they dismissed her, claiming no rooms were available. What they didn't know was this woman wasn't just a guest. She was the one who signed their paychecks. And in just a few moments, their arrogance would cost them everything. Her name was Diane Carter, and while most saw only her skin color or modest attire, her story went far deeper. Diane was the founder and CEO of a hotel empire that stretched across states, with properties in major cities and luxury resorts by the ocean. What made her empire unique wasn't just its grandeur, it was her vision. Diane had grown up watching her mother clean hotel rooms, often ignored by guests and managers alike. She remembered the sting of condescension in their voices and the ache of watching her mother treated as invisible. When she built her brand, she vowed that no guest would ever feel unwelcome under her name. Her hotels were designed to exude elegance, but more importantly, respect. Every employee went through training that emphasized hospitality, dignity, and fairness. Or at least, that's what she believed. That evening, Diane decided to test things firsthand. She often visited her hotels without notice, blending in as an ordinary traveler. She dressed casually, leaving behind the designer suits and chauffeur-driven cars. She wanted to see how guests like her mother once was, ordinary, unassuming, would be treated. As she entered her flagship property, one of her most prized hotels, she paused to take it in. The marble floors gleamed, the staff stood tall in pressed uniforms, and the scent of fresh lilies filled the air. She felt a flicker of pride until she caught the sharp glance of a manager sizing her up from across the room, a look that told her this visit would be more revealing than she expected. The lobby hummed with quiet luxury. Soft jazz spilled from hidden speakers, and bellboys rushed forward to carry bags for arriving guests. But when Diane approached the front desk, the warmth that greeted others cooled into frost. The first receptionist, a young woman with a polite smile that seemed forced, glanced at Diane's simple jacket and travel bag. "One moment, please," she said before disappearing to fetch a manager. Moments later, the manager arrived, a woman in a sharp navy suit, her posture stiff, her eyes sharp with suspicion. She didn't bother with a smile. "Yes? Can I help you?" Diane asked calmly about booking a room for the night. The manager's response was quick, rehearsed, and dismissive. "We're fully booked. Perhaps you can try somewhere else." Her words cut through the air, sharp and final. Diane looked around. She had just seen another guest approach minutes earlier, casually requesting a room and being offered several options. Yet somehow, when it was her turn, there wasn't a single bed left in this massive hotel. "Fully booked?" Diane asked, keeping her voice even. "That's right," the manager replied, her tone laced with impatience. "We have no availability." Behind her, another receptionist shuffled nervously, clearly aware of the lie. Diane noticed the flicker of unease, but stayed silent. Instead of walking away, she lingered in the lobby, observing. She watched as a white couple entered moments later, requesting a last-minute room. With a syrupy smile, the same manager who had turned her away now leaned forward, pulling up options on the computer. Within minutes, keys were handed over. The injustice tightened like a knot in Diane's chest. It wasn't about a room anymore. It was about dignity. She had built this empire so that no one would endure the same cold sting of prejudice her mother had felt. And yet, here it was, alive and thriving, under her own brand. Her instincts told her to reveal herself immediately, to let her title crash down like thunder on their arrogance. but she waited. She wanted them to dig their own grave fully, to make their disdain undeniable. So she approached the desk again, softer this time, as though testing their patience. "Are you certain there are no rooms available?" she asked. The manager's lips tightened. "I already told you we are full. If you don't mind, I have other guests to attend to." It wasn't just dismissal. It was a humiliation delivered with practiced cruelty, the kind that told her they had done this before and gotten away with it, the kind that burned more than it cut. Diane stepped back, her face unreadable, but inside, a storm gathered. The silence that followed was deafening. Guests continued to check in around her, unaware that they were witnessing a test about to explode into revelation. Diane reached into her bag, pulled out her phone, and dialed a number she knew by heart. "Good evening," she said calmly into the receiver. "This is Diane Carter. I need the regional director at the downtown property immediately." The staff froze. The receptionist's head snapped up. The manager stiffened, eyes narrowing, but not yet understanding. Within minutes, a man in a tailored suit hurried into the lobby, his face pale with urgency. He spotted Diane instantly and rushed forward. "Miss Carter!" he exclaimed, his voice echoing. "We weren't expecting you." The manager's face drained of color. Her mouth opened, but no words came. Diane's voice was cool, measured, but carried the weight of authority. "Apparently not, because I was just denied a room. In my own hotel." The regional director's face burned red as he turned to the staff. Guests nearby paused, whispers rippling through the lobby. The manager stammered something about a misunderstanding, but her excuses tangled into silence under Diane's steady gaze. "You see," Diane continued, her tone calm but razor-sharp, "this hotel was built on a promise. Hospitality without prejudice, dignity without condition. Yet here I stand, treated like I don't belong. Tell me, is this what we represent?" The manager's knees seemed to buckle under the weight of her words. She knew, as did everyone watching, that her career had ended the moment Diane spoke. Diane didn't need to raise her voice. Her presence was enough to shatter the arrogance that had filled the room minutes earlier. By the next morning, news had already spread among staff. The manager and receptionist who had lied and humiliated Diane were gone, their badges surrendered, their reputations destroyed. But Diane's actions weren't just about punishment. She called an emergency, meeting with her leadership team, gathering them in the very ballroom her mother once cleaned as a maid. She spoke with quiet fire. "This is not about me," she said. "It's about every guest who has walked into this hotel and left feeling unwelcome. It's about the silent wounds inflicted by prejudice. If it can happen to me, the CEO, then how many others have walked out these doors, never to return?" Her voice broke the silence, heavy with unspoken truth. "We will not be another company that looks away. We will be the standard." New training programs were implemented not just on customer service, but on empathy and bias. Accountability measures were tightened. Diane made sure that her mother's legacy, the dignity denied to her so often, would be built into the very foundation of the empire. Weeks later, Diane returned to the hotel. This time, the staff greeted every guest with the same warmth, whether in designer suits or modest jackets. The change wasn't perfect, but it was real. Standing in the lobby, Diane looked up at the chandelier once more. It glittered as before, but now it reflected something deeper. Respect reclaimed, justice delivered. And for every person watching this story, one question remains. How many moments of silent prejudice still pass unnoticed until someone dares to confront them?